Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division 4, the big game tournament here in Golf Clash the game. Before we take a look at all the content, I want to have a disclaimer here in the beginning, which is that not all the videos do have tailwind, because the modifiers for the upcoming tournament is tailwinds only, and it's only part 4s and part 5s. That's going to be a lot of fun, but this playthrough do have replays with various wins. This for me to actually be able to do a playthrough. But I take my time, I explain to you the way to play and trying to be very thorough with the way of playing these different holes for low clubs, medium clubs, and the high level clubs as well. So make sure to have the sound on and enjoy the playthrough together with me. Hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. That helps the channel immensely, and especially a little thumbs up and to subscribe is definitely extremely helpful. Scan the QR code here on the screen or go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link in the description down below. We do offer premium guides for as little as $3 for 30 days, and that is for a checkpoint challenge, tour play, and tournament play. So pick whatever that suits you and subscribe today. Follow the info box on the right hand side for the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also a ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. On the drive on hole number 9, we're starting at complete max distance with quarterback 9 or 10. 3 left spin and 1 top spin, half of the red ring inside the rough. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. And once we have adjusted, we shall apply outside wall left curl. Perfect ball it is, and we're looking to get somewhere around 322 to 325 yards. We do want to have that roll out, to roll just past the shadow. If you do want to, you can play with a power 4 or a power 5 ball. What that will do is to ensure that you on the second shot always have the plus yardage, so you're not going to have to struggle with a shorter drive. And now I actually recommend that because we never know if we're going to have a short drive, or let's say like this, we never know if we're going to mess up the drive. Then it would be better to just make sure that you do have all the distance possible with either a power 4 ball or a power 5 ball. Because you can see here now on the second shot that we are close to the max line with sniper 10. And sniper 9 here would be more or less at the max line when we're setting this one up. So the trick here now for this one is to use the top of the yellow ring to be just by the edge of the shadow. And then we're going to use 3.5 top spin, and we're going to use whatever left spin that gets the ball guideline to go 1 green square left of the pin. Adjustment is going to be minus 20% elevation, and we're going to use plus 9 as a base for sniper 10, which is 92% slider with that. The goal here now is to go get the ball guideline to go as close to the pin on the left hand side, because the more left we're coming, the more risk we have to miss on the right hand side. And I don't know if you were focused on my pull angle, but I did play with a pretty decent 1159, which is the reason why I'm missing just on the right hand side, because my ball come way too far on the left hand side and will so miss. So if you do everything correct, this is a really good chance. Unfortunately, this is the best replay I do have after many replays being messed up by the replay glitches in this game. But very good chance here on the second shot on hole number 9. There will most definitely be some hole-in-ones on this hole, and the reason I do believe that is because we now have so many different golf balls in the game that even if we do have a headwind, we will still be able to easily get over the water and get the ball to green. And if you then have some luck, if you roll down at the correct place, then the hole-in-one is definitely there. Max plus 10 using max overpower with a slower needle to not have to use a bunch of topspin here. Great left. is going to still be fine, which is great. And you can see how much fairway we do have to play on where we land with our first bounce. With a perfect ball, we would have been kind of close, but as the green is downhill, it's all about the speed if you're going to give yourself a chance for a hole-in-one, and obviously hit perfect, that would be great. This obviously play here is for this particular wind angle. It could definitely vary slightly if you have a different wind angle, something that it's important to have in mind. Don't be afraid of using a better power ball for either a slower needle or to make sure that you don't have to use that much overpower if you do have a headwind. Hole number 9, setting up with a quarterback at the top of plus 25, and then I'm swapping to Apocalypse and Catbag. That's actually a mistake because my intention was to swap to the big topper and the Catbag, so I'm not really getting all the topspin that I want to have. So swap to big top and cat here for the most amount of topspin. Adjust max plus 20 P5, and then we're gonna play with half a ball of right curl, max overpower with a slow needle. The goal is to get the ball as far up the fairway on the other side possible. There we go. And once again, even though I do play with an Apocalypse, I'm not really getting the extra topspin that is needed. I'm still getting far enough at least so I can push myself to still getting an eagle. And that's actually good to have in the back of our minds if we make a mistake like this. For the second shot, using 2 left spin and 6 top spin as per default, and then we're gonna stretch out to look for the second bounce to be just before the rough, with the ball guideline pointing towards into the in between the brighter and the darker rough patch. Count the rings that you push into overpower if you happen to go short like this, because then you're going to push those rings up after the adjustment. Adjust this max plus 10 P5, and as I was 4 rings into overpower, I'm gonna push up 4 rings. Once that is done, we're gonna apply one ball left curl and 1 ring of overpower always. Here I would say if you are uncertain about how much 1 ring is, rather use more than less here, because we do have some room to go a little bit more, because we are bouncing on the fairway into the rough, and then we want to roll out on the fairway pad here for an end bringer on our third shot. So for the third shot, we are looking to do an Endbringer school, and here we're gonna find the bullseye of our Endbringer to be centered on the fringe, and we're gonna apply whatever backspin that is needed to get the ball guideline 3 holes. So we're measuring EB school wise already from the start, and then once we have found the position, we are going to make our adjustment, which is 10% elevation, and then whatever slider you estimate it will be. Adjustment is done, and then try to hit perfect. Perfect ball here, and we'll have a very good chance for a drop. And I mean, this is going to be a tough one. Even though we do have a tailwind, it is nice in the end to get ourselves an eagle here and just move on. The albatross here, I don't really see that happen regardless of what drive you're playing and what situation you have for the second shot. For the drive on hole number 1, we are going to play with our rock, and for the rock 9 we're gonna start at the top of +0, which is just before +1 obviously. White ring to the right by the rough line, and once we have found that, we're gonna apply 1.5 bar topspin and 1.5 bar of right spin. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, power 3 ball settings. The goal here is to get the ball to stop just before the 2 big bunkers, so we have a nice view towards the pin on the second shot. So it's a very consistent drive. And then obviously the second shot we are going to play into the massive funnel that is on the back of the green. You don't have to play with a kingmaker if you don't want to. It's a tailwind. I would recommend to do as a minimum a power 1 ball at least. So we're getting it consistently down to be around 330 to 335 yards. Looking then at the second shot, we're gonna play with our sniper level 9 plus because we do want to have 6 backspin. If you happen to have a lower level sniper, we do recommend to play with the Guardian. The problem with the Guardian is that you do not have a good ball guideline, and then you have a risk of being off with your landing spot and therefore miss your shot. So we're using the 6 backspin, moving up to have the top of the yellow ring to be just by the fringe line, with the ball guideline falling down into the hole. Adjustment is going to be based on yardage, and so we do have our base, which is 331 yards, and that is 64% slider with a 10% elevation P3 numbers. Center the ball and hit perfect, and then you will see yourself having an extremely good chance with getting an eagle. I would also have to say that you can hit a great ball here and still have a good chance for a drop, which is the beauty with playing into a funnel, because a funnel means that we do have a spot that is very forgiving, and that's something that is very fun to play with because it doesn't really it doesn't destroy around just because you hit a bad shot. Take your game to the next level with our Ultimate Tournament text guide for the big game tournament here in Golf Clash the Game. We're gonna play a mix of the Eagle Peak, Juniper Point, and the Milano, and the modifiers for this one is that we do have no par 3s, it's only par 4s and par 5s combined with only tailwind. So it's gonna be a lot of drops here is what I suspect. And if you do want to have yourself a good chance to get to the weekend round, then you make sure to subscribe to our service. We offer premium guides for expert and master division to get yourself to the weekend round. And for those that do want to fight for top spots, you have the possibility as well. Once you do sign up, you get instant access to all the content. We obviously have a support line as well through email, but also through Telegram that will be open for all the followers on Patreon. So scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy. That is in the link is in the description down below. Hole 9 is a very difficult one, especially when it comes to headwind. And now we strongly advise you to play with a power 4 plus ball, this to avoid having to go with a lot of overpower, especially for the lower level clubs. Now we're setting up at the bottom of +9 with a POC 5 plus, a POC 4, bottom of +15. We're adding the spins, second bounce centered on the left fairway pad. A POC 5 plus adjusts max +10 P4. A POC 4 plays max +15 minus 0.1. One ring plus whatever we adjust into. So if you don't adjust into overpower, we use one ring. And then we get down the fairway, looking to be somewhere between 370 and 380 yards. So it's mainly the drive where we do need some power. The second shot, we do have a lot of room, and therefore we are continuing playing with our sniper. We're going to, in this case, use our landing position plus yardage here as our reference. You can see here that we're using 2.5 backspin and 2 left spin. And we want, if anything, favor right side of the hole. Adjust is gonna be 20% elevation with 68% slider from +3 and 4 with sniper 10, which is the same as +5 and 6 for sniper 9. Just before circle drop and plus whatever we adjust into, if anything, it's gonna be mainly nothing, but if we get to adjust into OP, we need to obviously use that as well. Very difficult par 5 here with headwind. Play with any power 4 plus ball, side spin 2 plus, wind 3 plus, so there is loads of balls to choose between, but difficult one nonetheless. Here we play with an NMT. This is a shot that is for Apocalypse level 6 plus, and we're playing with a Luminary ball. Obviously you can play with a Wind 4 ball as well, but it needs to be power 5 and side spin 2. Adjustment is max plus 10 P5, and now pay close attention to how many rings you pull into overpower. This is 2.2 rings, and that's the amount of overpower we shall use. One ball left curl. And we are playing 7 top spin and 2 left spin. The idea here with this shot is to get the ball to bounce on the fairway up into the rough and roll out. Either with you get a glitch roll or with you get dead bounce. We have coverage for both for the second shot. On the second shot on hole 8, if we happen to get a glitch roll out from the rough, then we're gonna play rings from min, and that's gonna be with 2 backspin and 2 left spin and 1 backspin. So we go to min line, we add the spins, and then we're pushing up the amount of rings needed to get the ball guideline to be just through the hole. In this video in particular, I'm playing 17 rings from min, which is then 17% slider with a 10% over adjustment, power 3 ball setting. So very simple all the way through here, and always pull over bullseye. That's super important. Pulling over the bullseye and getting myself the correct adjustment, and now we're only looking to do a perfect ball. There we go, perfect ball it is. Bounce on the fringe, up towards the green, and right at pin for a beautiful eagle here. And hole number 8 with a tough wind. If we do not get the glitch rollout from rough, then we're gonna have to play slightly different. We're gonna use a pin shake here instead, and we're gonna use 2 left spin and 1 back spin. So there's always the same spin for the second shot, regardless if it's rings from min or it is a normal bounce up shot. Here from plus 3 pin shake, we're playing 56% slider, plus 10% elevation, P3 numbers. Always pull over bullseye. Pulling over the bullseye is done. Center the ball and hit perfect, and we're gonna have a very good chance locking in an eagle here on hole number 8. Hole number 6, and here we're not going to do a double bounce over to the fairway. We're going to play down the right hand side, starting at the top of plus 10, using the white ring to the right by the rough line, 3 top spin, 3 right spin, and we're gonna make an adjustment of maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, power 3 ball settings. Once we have done that, we shall apply 2 balls of right curl with 1 ring of overpower. The goal for us is to get enough distance so we can reach for a rough bump on the second shot. This is a more or less a risk-free drive, which is a nice way of playing this hole. A double bounce is always going to involve some risk in terms of will you clip the rough or will you not clip the rough. And that's definitely going to create inconsistencies. We are getting this ball up to 357, which is a little bit too long. I might have a little bit too much overpower there, because we do not want to go too long, because then we will be outside landing position plus yardage, which I am unfortunately here in this video. However though, we can still use this one in a positive way by using the 3 left spin, and obviously using the 6 top spin as we call for in the guide, using the cataclysm to ensure that we do have all the power necessary. If However, if you do not have a Cataclysm level 7 or level 8, then you will have to focus purely on the second bounce on the fairway, because it's going to be very easy for you, if playing with a lower level Cataclysm or a big dog for that matter, to not then to be off your landing spot, because the ball guideline is not going to be helpful. But Cataclysm level 7 and level 8 will give you that possibility to work with the ball guideline. However, though, if you do want to play with the sniper, you can do so as well. The adjustment on the second shot might be slightly different, and we would recommend to play with a power 4 or a power 5 ball to ensure that you're always having distance, because you do have a slight headwind on the second shot. Getting it in the hole, and I'm using a landing position adjustment that is minus 10% elevation, P3 numbers. If we do have a tailwind on hole number 1, we are going to send it and get ourselves to green. That could also be done if we do have a straight crosswind, but what complicates it is that when we do have a headwind, then we're going to have to lay up on the right hand side, playing an NMT with a P2 ball, adding spins, adjustment max plus 10 P3. Once we have adjusted, we're going to center the ball and hit perfect. So even if we did adjust into overpower, we are not adding any overpower in this situation. Bounces on the fairway, gets down nicely, and we want to keep ourselves to favor the left hand side on the fairway, because the second shot here now is going to be played from more or less min line. I'm putting mid in the info box due to the fact that it could vary if you have a great right, or you're just aiming more right to not flirt with that rough. But the idea here is to go for a rough bump. This rough bump here is pretty big when it comes to playing with such an accurate club like the Grizzly. Obviously, having the correct adjustment from start is a massive help, and make sure to not add a bunch of additional OP or UP or something like that. That could cost you a lot. 10% elevation, and here it's all about what pin check or frame check you have, or it's just true club distance. Perfect ball it is. We bounce into the rough, rolls down the green, and we're dropping this one dead center for a beautiful eagle here to start with on hole number 1. Hole number 3, it's a tough wind here, and you can play this hole in many different ways, in my opinion. I wanted to show a little bit more aggressive one, where you play with a special ball here, the Ryder Cup ball to be more exact. That is a power 5 side spin to wind 4 ball. Starting at the top of plus 10, and we are using 7 top spin and 1 right spin. Adjustment is max plus 10 power 3. If you do adjust into overpower, then you will have to apply whatever overpower you adjust into, which is not going to happen with this type of ball and Apocalypse level 6 plus, but it could happen with an Extra Mile level 9, it could happen with a Thor's Hammer, and it could also happen if you decide to play with a Wind 3 ball such as a Luminary. Instead, it's not going to be much overpower, but at least it's important to have in mind. We're looking to get to around 370 yards. The rollout could be different, obviously, depending on what type of glitch roll you're getting on that fairway. Second shot we're gonna play in this instance with the sniper, and I'm kind of torn between should I play with the sniper here or should I go with a guardian backspin shot. In the video I'm going obviously with the sniper, trying to do a rollback by using the little sticky spot that is on the back, but the problem we have here is to find the correct landing spot. So I would recommend to try to find a consistent spot with your bullseye to start with, and then apply all the backspin and then the left spin to get the ball guideline as we want. Because my problem here and my mistake here is that I'm starting too much right. Looking at, for those of you that do have our guide, looking at the guide, we should be positioned at least 1.5 to 2 rings more left than what I am here, and that's what the reason as well why I'm missing on the right hand side with this shot. We're playing based on yardage as it is a linear hole, and I'm playing this one 22% slider as a base with 10% elevation P3 numbers from 372 yards. Tough one with this win once again, but to be able to get a chance, you kind of need to set it up properly, which I didn't do here on this video. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for Pro and Expert division here with various wins. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to hit the thumbs up button before you leave. Scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link patreon.com/goldclashtommy that is in the description down below. That will take you to our premium guides where you can subscribe and start improving your game today. Thank you once again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.